Mabuhay, or in Kapampangan, Luwid kayo. Today's video, it's a little bit different. So this past Sunday, we went on a mini road trip with our friends in the Filipino grassroots community. We visited the different areas that were heavily affected by the recent Northern California wildfires that is still sweeping the state of California today. We visited different sites, different evacuation and relief sites in the cities of American Canyon, Napa, and Santa Rosa. And in all of these places, in fact, in any disaster, the most vulnerable are those from the immigrant communities. Yet, we don't even hear much about them in the media, in the news. So we went out there to see what the community needs and learn how we can best help them without interfering in their own process. So we were out there with no agenda other than to connect with the people and to learn from them, to respectfully learn about the ways that we can plug in and help in the immediate relief and the long-term rebuilding of their communities. Many people are used to this idea of charity or the philanthropic side of disaster relief. I mean, don't get me wrong, donations are great and it feels good to be able to share what you have with the people in need. But helping should not end there. If you have the capacity, volunteer your time in the grassroots organizations. Get out there, get to know the people. These grassroots organizations are often the ones who knows the people best. They've been out there, they really know the community, and they are in the best position to respond to their needs. Yet, they also get the least funding and help, even though they're often the first ones to be out there helping the people the minute tragedy hits. So if you do have the capacity, please get out there, get to know these grassroots organizations and learn about the ways you can help and contribute to their amazing work. In this trip, we met a lot of people from the Latino, the Filipino, and the Fijian communities. Many lost their homes. Many families have been moving from one evacuation site to another and another. And some families don't even feel comfortable nor safe in certain evacuation sites. We met people who camped out by the beach to avoid the unhealthy air, and people who slept in their cars and makeshift tents just to survive. It's been a week since the fire started, but the situation hasn't much improved. We even met workers in big businesses that do not have any sort of emergency plan in place to protect the lives of their workers, even though the fire was just a few miles down the road. We got to know people who lost everything and yet they're still faced with upcoming rent payments and other bills, even though their homes were burned down. It was heartbreaking, yet at the same time, it was heartwarming to see them thrive, to see the resilience and strength and determination to bounce back. And it was beautiful to see different communities working together. So one of my favorite moments in this road trip was witnessing the Fijian community burst into singing as a way of expressing hope and their determination to bounce back. Another memorable moment was meeting this abuelita who shares the same name as my grandma and just having a nice chat over some pan dulce that she brought and gave to me. We talked about the many things our people share, from naming traditions to the colonial histories of our countries. We also met a single mother who, despite not having access to traditional education and despite all the things that life threw at her, she was able to thrive and be hella woke and dedicate her life and her energy into grassroots organizing and making sure that our communities, not just her community but other communities as well, are protected and cared for, especially in times like this. So in short, we met hella inspiring people in this mini road trip, and we cannot wait to continue building solidarity with one another and making sure that we'll be supporting their work, not just today but in the long road to rebuilding and strengthening their communities. Because it's really wonderful to see people taking the lead in rebuilding their homes and rebuilding their communities and in bouncing back even stronger. With that in mind, I encourage you all to take this opportunity to connect and build movements with other communities outside of your own. It's important to build solidarities with them today, not just in times of disaster, in ensuring that we got each other's back. Don't wait for tragedies to hit us before we come together and be there for one another. Because like what we say in Rise Up Yolo, we are only as strong as our weakest link. So if you are interested in these grassroots communities, in helping out these grassroots organizations, check out the links in the video description below. And if you are in the UC Davis, Yolo County area and you would like to get involved, feel free to reach out to us at Rise Up Yolo. So yeah, that is it for me today, but don't go away yet because I'll be adding a little bit of what we saw and what we did in this road trip at the end of this video. See you next time, or in Tagalog, kita kits, and in Kapampangan, mikitix.